Hi guys, so starting with chapter 5, Nothing Gold Can Stay. This is from your close read questions for chapter 5. It says to look at chapter 5, paragraph 62 to 67. In this passage, Johnny and Ponyboy have just finished watching the sunrise in silence behind the church where they're hiding out. Johnny admires the golden mist and regrets that it doesn't last. Ponyboy recites a poem he learned by Robert Frost called Nothing Gold Can Stay, about impermanence. Nature from flowers to sunrises. Ponyboy is not sure what the poem means, but Johnny tells him the poem expresses exactly what he was saying about wishing the gold light could last. What we discussed in our discussion today was what does the sunrise look like? What does the sunset look like? Obviously, our sky doesn't go just straight from blue to black and then from black to blue. There's different colors that we see in the sunrise and in the sunset. And this is the specific reading. I'll link this slide as well. This is a specific reading that the close read is referring to. It says, the dawn was coming then, all the lower valley was covered with mist, and sometimes little pieces of it broke off and floated away in small clouds. The sky was lighter in the east, and the horizon was a thin gold line. The clouds changed from gray to pink, and the mist was touched with gold. There was a silent moment when everything held its breath, and then the sun rose. It was beautiful. Golly, Johnny's voice beside me made me jump. That sure was pretty. Yeah, I sighed, wishing I had some paint to do a picture with while the sight was so fresh in my mind. The mist was what was pretty, said Johnny. All gold and silver. I said, trying to blow a smoke ring. Too bad I couldn't stay like that all the time. Nothing gold can stay. I was remembering a poem I'd read once. What? Nature's first green is gold. Her heart is two to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. Ronnie was staring at me. Where'd you learn that? That's what I meant. So in this reading is what we were discussing, what you'll be required to answer this question right here for chapter 5. The sunrise that Johnny and Ponyboy watched together is gold, but the phrase nothing gold can stay refers to more than just the setting. What do you think the gold of the poem refers to? What qualities or characters do you think could be considered gold, and why? How does that change the meaning of the line? So literally in the poem, he's talking about nature, flowers, but when we're having a discussion, when you're responding to the question, you should look at specifically what are the characters perhaps meaning. For chapter 6, the key passage it asks you to look at is 73 to 78. In this passage, Ponyboy is riding in an ambulance, being taken to the hospital. It is just after he, Johnny, and Dally entered the burning church to rescue the children who had gone inside. Jerry, one of the adults in charge of the children, is telling Ponyboy that Dally came out all right, but Johnny was badly burnt by a falling beam. He goes on to praise the 3 boys for their heroics. Ponyboy rejects his heaven-sent characterization, explaining that the 3 of them are greasers with police records and bad reputations. Going back to the reading. Johnny has black hair. Dally's the mean-looking one. He studied his wedding ring. Maybe he's thinking about his wife, I thought. I wish he'd say something. We think the tow-headed kid is going to be all right, meaning Dally. He burned one arm pretty badly, though, trying to drag out the other kid out the window. Johnny, well, I don't know about him. A piece of timber caught him across the back. He might have a broken back, and he was burned pretty severely. He passed it before he got out the window. They're giving him plasma now. He must have seen the look on my face because he hurriedly changed the subject. I swear you 3 are the bravest kids I've seen in a long time. First, you and the black-haired kid climbing in that window, and then the tough-looking kid going back in to save him. Mrs. O'Brien and I think you were sent straight from heaven. Or are you just professional heroes or something? Sent from heaven? Had he gotten a good look at Dallas? No, we're greasers, I said. I was too worried and scared to appreciate the fact that he was trying to be funny. You're what? Greasers, you know, like hoods, JDs. Johnny is wanted for murder, and Dallas has a record with the fuzz a mile long. Are you kidding me? Jerry stared at me as if he thought I was still in shock or something. I am not. Take me to town, and you'll find out pretty quick. We're taking you to the hospital anyway. The address card in your billfold said that's where you live. Your name's really Ponyboy? So based on this, what we're looking at, something I pointed out in our discussion is that Ponyboy is rejecting his heaven sent characterization. So Jerry says he thinks that they're heroes sent from heaven, and he says that he explains it away and says they're not heroes, they're not from heaven, they're greasers with police records and bad reputations. But in his explanation, Ponyboy is actually not one of the bad ones. He is explaining what the other guys did. He says here that somewhere here. He says that Dallas has a record and that Johnny's wanted for murder, but Ponyboy still has not done anything wrong. I mean, officially. So here is your discussion questions for this chapter. Based on this section, what can you determine about the way Ponyboy is changing? Analyze the potential reasons for these changes. Do you think these changes are good or bad, and why? So instead of attending the Zoom or the Google Meet that we had this morning, all I'm asking is that you answer briefly 1 or 2 sentences, Chapter 5 discussion questions, and the Chapter 6 discussion questions. If you have any questions, send me an email, comment on this assignment, let me know. Thanks.